Rabbi say we have a very interesting Sikha to Rebbe to take a look at. It's in Yiddish, but we'll translate. How's the Yiddish doing?
It's a bisschen, nicht das auch. Nicht hier.
Das ist schön gut.
But here.
In Heintik is said that it erzählt dass b'chodesh hasheni b'shiva b'esem yom l'chodesh chav zayin cheshvan yavsha haaretz the land became dry after the map. But the Eibishter gesagt nach Noachen, Shem told Noach, say min Teivah, go out from the Teivah, ato ve'ishtecha kol hachaya, all the animals, heitz itach take out with you. Isn't it verstandig? What the Rebbe is going to ask here is, if the land became dry and everything's good, why didn't he go out by himself? What is he waiting for a message? It must have been pretty stuffy in the Teivah, you know. Why did he want to stay in there for that much longer?
It's like when the airplane land in the airport, right?
Did he go out?
You keep sit down till the come to full stop.
You want to get up already?
You can't sit anymore.
Yeah.
And also to come in. Why did you have to wait till the last second when the water coming to a point that must
Here it says, Mikatne.
believe or don't believe.
Right. But the shaila is on the way out, now that the maple's over.
What's the belief?
Isn't it verstandig? Wie bald es schon gewinnt Yavsha Aretz. In ganzen Trucken, it was totally dry. Rashi Mefarish, Yavesha meint, Yavsha meint, Nasa Gid Kilchasa. It's totally dry. After the parentheses, for was hat man gedarf sagen Noach and Semen Teivah? Why did Noach need a special tzivui to leave the Teivah? Noch mehr. Not only did Hashem command that he should leave the Teivah, so nicht genug gewähnt der Tzivui Shayach zu Noach. There was given a besonder tzivui, there was a separate command benegei di chayes, the animals. Kol hachaya, ba'oif, behema, b'chol haremesh, haitzitach. Not only he was told he has to leave, but make sure that the animals, the birds, and everyone, take out with you.
By himself they're going to go out. Why have to command it?
So the Emes says, there's a medrash. The medrash says, in medrash state, kiman shenochu amayim, once the water went away, hayitzarech noach lotzes ben haTeivah. Elo Amar, he said to himself, B'reshus HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nichnasti, She'amri Bayatach Beis HaTeivah, Achshav Niyetz B'Shutay. I came in with the Shus of Hashem, I'm going to leave with the Shus of Hashem.
So what do you send a boat to check out what's going on?
So, L'chore, Noach wanted to leave because he came in with the Eibishter. The Shus, he wants to leave with the Eibishter.
It's a good emunah.
No,
Whatever
but if
Hashem
so,
do,
why do you
tell
send
me
a boat to check what's going on? We send the boat to find out if it's dry or not.
Right.
Anyway, you're not going to go out till Hashem tell you, so why you have to send the boat?
That's a good
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, I hear it.
Stam, not to go with this. When you build the table, right, the table was like this, you know, like a chav and then go, right? So it makes sense, let's say you put like stick, something like that, then when the water come, start floating. But when you land, how did it go this way or this way or this way?
Who said that it had a pointy bottom?
According to the measurement, how they build it. It's 3 floors. It wasn't said it was a square.
Doesn't say Adarab. It doesn't say that it was
The roof was...
only the roof. It doesn't say that the bottom was. It sounds like it was square. It doesn't say it was 50 amas wide
Right.
and 300 amas long. It doesn't say what the shape.
It could sit
Seems
down
like it was
straight.
rectangular.
Because the ship cannot stay straight. The bottom of the ship has to go like this.
Does?
Yeah. Every ship, the bottom has to go like this. Otherwise, it can't sit underwater. You will sink.
The rowboats don't not like that.
Which robot?
Maybe big boats need to be like that. Rowboats are not like that. Rowboats are flat. Only canoes, they are like pointed at the bottom.
It's not.
You have motorboats, they're also flat. I don't know how it works with the water. You know.
Because it says when you land, then the Rebbe told him go out. So when you land, how did you land? Flip this? How Hashem make this land? It's not I'm asking about.
Some people tell that they found.
That's it.
Some
They
people say they found
found
leftover parts of the Teivah.
In Italy. According to the measurement, they said in Italy
But the real place, the place where it says that it was in Hari Ararat. It's a place
and
in
they
Turkey.
said,
Turkey.
Italy.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah, it's
How
somewhere
we know
where
it is Turkey?
There is mountains there called Ararat.
Well, how we know this is from the time from Noach, everything in the world changed and this, like. But physically, according to the measurement and this, they said this is the measurement from the Teivah.
They tiny that it wasn't that more, and that's what comes out from the psukim and everything, that it's in this area over there.
Also from the measurement,
Kurdistan is something.
from the measurement they found out that's according to the Teivah.
Yeah.
So the question is why the Eibishter have to tell the Noach especially to go out.
Now,
number two, why have to tell animals and all this to go out.
Yeah, there's two things. This Sikha, the Rebbe is focusing a little bit more on Rashi's Pirush. Rashi's Mahalach. So, this Medrash is a nice Medrash, but Rashi never brought this Medrash. So obviously Rashi wasn't going with this Medrash.
Right.
Besides, this Medrash goes with the premise that Noach really wanted to go into the Teivah. But before he went in, he asked for Shus from Hashem. Rashi doesn't go with that medrash. Rashi earlier on explains that Noach didn't want to go into the Teivah. Noach didn't want to go to the last minute until he was forced to go in. So it's hard for us to use this medrash as an answer to explain why Noach had to need a mitzvah to leave the Teivah, at least according to Rashi's Mahalach. Right. According to the Medrash, you have some type of explanation.
Maybe when he was inside the Teivah, he became more frum, and then he said, I'm listening to Hashem when he tell me to get out.
I hear it, I got the
When he was inside in the Teivah, he became more frum.
No, he got
more
bite.
believe in Hashem.
He got bite from the lion, so...
But the first pshat is still problematic. He didn't mention Bechlal, the whole entire Medrash is not brought. So he says, on the top of the second column, No Yisuf Lazeh, as Rashi brings it to me, besides the fact that Rashi doesn't bring this Medrash, Al derech hapshat kommt l'chora ois, as das was der Eibishter gesagt, Noach im Baboye gem al Teivah is nit nisim zu Schuss, aber Noach hat nicht gewollt reingehen in Teivah. Pshat,
from Rashi.
It's not only Rashi, I mean Pshat.
When you read the Pasuk,
This Sikha is not Dafke Rashi, but it's a Pshat Sikha.
It sounds like...
Pasha Pshat. Pasha Pshat doesn't seem that Noach waited to ask for Schuss. He didn't want to go in. Now, what Pashas Kemen Zogin, here,
it's a little bit hard to understand it because you built something for 120 years and then you don't want to go into it.
now,
It was frost going.
Now, later on, Pashtus, one could say that maybe the fact of leaving the Teivah was not... The main thing wasn't the mitzvah to leave the Teivah. The main thing was what it said in the continuation of the Pasuk. It say, Ata v'ishtecha, you and your wife, uvanecha uv'shnei vanecha, your sons and the wives of your sons. We know that during the Teivah, they were not allowed to have relations, Tasha Shemitah. When they left the Teivah, the Pasuk says, suddenly the Pasuk puts them together. You and your wife, your children's wives, so they were allowed. But during the entire year that they were in the Teivah, they weren't allowed to have any Tasha Shemitah. So maybe you could say...
Because the world was starting with Tsar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the Maisa... The Maisa is that you could taina that maybe the Iker wasn't telling Noach that he has to leave the Teivah. Noach would have left on his own. The main stress of the pasuk is that now you're allowed to have
relation.
Say Atav Ishtecha. The focus on Atav Ishtecha. The Pashas kemen sagen that Tzorich nem Tziva is nit azoi fil. It's not so much of them etzem mitzvah for leaving the actual Teivah, but for an oivin mitzvah, the way how you're supposed to leave. Atav v'ishtecha b'necha shebenecha itach. V'Rashi dot mefarish ish v'ishtoi kan hiter lam tash shamita. Mashen kin zayin the kinder Teivahs ha'anashim avad v'anashim avad v'al tash shamita.
What about the animals?
Same thing. It's the same regarding the animals. Second column, Valderach Zeh starts the column. V'ayin dal zayin.
Okay, yeah.
As Mahata Gedarpa Varnim, B'shart Subarat, Apruvarats, when they left the Teivah, they were told, now you're supposed to have children. You have to have offspring.
No.
Yerashis Mefarish, V'loi B'Teivah. Magid Sha'afa Behema V'oif Nasa B'Tashmish.
Oh, wow.
But this answer is difficult because Pasha seems that Noach was told to leave the Teivah. Say min Teivah. The main thing was he was commanded to leave the Teivah. We also, from the next words, we see Atav Ishtecha, we see how he left, it was supposed to be in a way that now they're supposed to have, for fruitful, multiply, have children. But the main thing was he had a command to leave. So we'll go back to our question, why did Noach need a command to leave? The Mabel's over, pick yourself up and leave the Teivah. Why do you want to stay in a boat?
And also
Not time to stay in a boat, it's time to leave the boat.
Right.
The Mabel's over, everything's dry, you go out, you don't need to have a special mitzvah to leave the Teivah. Our Pashas Lashon HaKosev is mashman, et Tzivui is oich b'negeah to etzem yitziyah. Same in the Teivah. It's mashman that the command was also to leave the Teivah. On gar stark is mudish b'negeah chayis. Even more it's stressed when it comes to the animals. Very interesting. The pasuk doesn't say. It says the word hoitze. Hoitze ksiv. Im eina ratzes reitzim latzes hitziim at over here.
Like a command.
Yeah. Hashem told Noach, if the animals don't want to leave,
Push them out.
push them out. What comes out over here is the chayis von efshen et velen areiskim v'teva. And it's hitziim at v'akarchim. Not only does Noach need to be told to leave, Noach is told that there's a possibility the animals are not going to want to leave.
You might not.
They might not want to leave. You're going to have to force them to leave. Force them. Schlep them out of the Teivah. What is going on over here? Everyone wants to stay in the Teivah. The animals, they need to be forced to leave. If the animals want to stay, let them stay in. But who wants to stay in the Teivah? The cramped quarters over there, you finally have a chance to leave, you should be running out.
And more than that, by going into the Teivah, they wanted to go in. It says, Bo, they came, right? Rashi from today. They came and stood over there. All the highest stairs and this, they're waiting for them to go in.
Yeah. So,
By Noach, Hashem commanded. By the animals, Hashem didn't tell them. They came.
yeah. So, over here, the Nakuda of the beer is, what the Rebbe's beer is, in Sif Beis, is that in based on what it says in Chassidus, but you could also read this in Pshat. The Rebbe's going to learn this in Pshat. It's based on an idea brought in Chassidus, but the Rebbe's going to learn this in Pshat in the Pasuk. Because we have a Shaila here in Pshat. A Pshat Shaila. Why did they have to be told to leave, and why would the animals need to be forced to leave? So we need Epizah for over here in Pshat.
Well, about the animals, it's not such a shiloh.
Why?
They know they were in the Teivah, now the flood is over. They don't know all this stuff.
The door's open.
Unverkehrt.
No,
Animals want to be freedom. Don't put me in a cage.
Okay.
The gates are open.
So Isaac's there. He was giving them food.
Noach opened up.
Fine, but now the gate is open up.
Noach opened up the gates, and they're not leaving.
Oh, you say it's a natural thing. If it's Fashpan and you open up, he's going to run
Even for
out.
Noach, even for Noach.
Huh?
Even for Noach, it's a normal thing.
No, for Noach, I understand. Because he finished the tafkid. God told him it's going to be a flood, and now it's finished the flood.
So go
it's
out.
tricking, so
Okay, fine.
So that he knows by himself.
But why is
why
Noach
then
told?
Shabbos
So we can ask
So
him.
I'm
Okay,
saying
good.
that I understand.
Naniach. Naniach, good gesagt.
Okay.
Naniach.
Yeah.
But further, so why would Hashem command Moshe to
No.
make sure you take them out? They want to stay in there. Let them stay in there. They like it.
What's the difference to the
Why
world?
does he have to be forced out? What's going on over here?
Well, because they have to repopulate the world with chayas.
Oh.
That's the whole. Why did they take a long to start
To
the world
prove the
again,
vote.
right?
Yeah.
To start all
Yeah.
over again, no?
So
That's partial.
one of the nekudas, ain't from the Biyurim, then one of the explanations is, many places says like this, Teivas Noach, there was a very special environment going on in this Teivah.
Peace.
Wow.
There was a special shalom, a special peace that happened in this Teivah. To have all these animals together,
Wow.
all these wild and dangerous animals together in one spot, and they did not hurt each other, and they did not, besides for the one episode that happened with Noach, the lion, which he brought the lion late, his food.
Ach Noach.
Ach Noach.
No,
Yeah.
but doesn't it say also with the raven and this bird? He says you're chopping with my wife. Doesn't also like a little machlaikas starting.
The only one that did touch Mishlamit in the table is the Erev.
Correct, yeah.
All right, but it wasn't violence. Okay, I hear what you said. I
Well,
really-
Maisi, you're holding a
there was no
tremendous,
unpleasantness.
tremendous zoo, the biggest zoo in the world.
Yeah,
And they're here for a whole year in small quarters
it's
over here.
very small.
So it says that Alter Rebbe already mentions this idea that in the Teivah it was like the time of La'asalave where the Navi says V'gar Zev and Keves.
Kevis,
That they were able to live together. There was a certain peaceful air over there that the animals felt that they were peaceful and they didn't fight and they didn't hurt.
My friend told me that in England, it's not a sure, they have a zoo that have in the cage over there, the guys there in Kevis by the, I told you this before? By the lions. So he couldn't believe it. He went to the garden and he said, how is it possible that I see a sheep in the cage? He said, every day we put one.
That's a joke.
But how the animals, Ish ve'isha animals, there, how you can separate them? Noah? Even though peacefully, but they don't know. They didn't hear
The
from
whole
Hashem,
thing was
don't
a
make
mess.
tashmish.
The whole Teivah,
The whole thing is,
the whole thing was one big nest. This whole thing of having all the animals and all the species in a one big ship, the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You think about it, it's not a normal thing.
The measurements you give, it's very schwer.
The whole thing is, how big was it already? It's not like the cruises they have today, you know.
Right.
The whole thing
It's a
was
big
a
miracle for making
it was a derech nes. Das ist morchrach euch im pshuti shel mikra. It's morchrach also im pshuti shel mikra. But mal after pies if in pasuk kim das der Teivah Rashi farish mit durum dem chol behem v'chaya. So jeder behem v'chaya is given abgeteilt. Von alle anderen von deswegen. Even though we know that each one had its own section in the Teivah, the quarters, but number one, Aleph, the second column at the top, is a schwer zu sagen is, man kann auf Teivah einzunehmen. Chayis Torfis, in Amokim Mugbal B'yoysim Eshel ganze Yar. It's very hard to naturally to hold such wild animals in a very small limited area a whole year, and there won't be any stories. Dabei soll nicht treffen, fallen as a chayil soll mazik sein. There wouldn't be any stories where you're going to have them upset and bays. But mezeb mochish and a gan chay we see in a zoo, a gan chayis. At b'chdei to omfim et aribi gadol chayis. In order to take care of so many animals, and especially wild animals, for the charibi gadol shomer anashim. You need a lot of people to take care of them. You can't just have Noach and his 3 sons.
right.
You need a lot of zookeepers. You look in the Bronx Zoo, how many people are running the Bronx Zoo? So how many people are going to run Teivas Noach? You can't have 4 men running it. Und da in Teivas Noach, haben etliche Menschen, Noach und Banav and Nesheim. Okay, he had the wives also, so it was altogether 7. Angeführt mit allem in the Chayes, the Cholin and Kuli, took care of all the wild animals in the entire world.
How did they feed? Physically, you know.
Another thing.
Take a foot, right? Time 500. He doesn't feed.
Look in 19, note 19. Zoa Beisafa, this is besides for the fact that they had to deal with them, to tame them, and keep them from being wild. They had to feed all of them. It was very, very difficult to feed them all. Actually, the Gemara said that they weren't able to sleep. They're so busy. The whole situation here is miraculous. Is mochach zu sagen, you have to say even al pi pshat, as sein dik in Teivah as a stane geworden, die Teivah von the Balachayim Turfim. That the animals change their behavior. Al derech vis vet sein La'asavavi, like it's going to be when La'asavavi, the future. So nazam matzos nar kata noigbam. The Navi says, Ishaya, a small child will be able to lead the wild animals. It must be that they were tamed, that there was a peaceful environment in the Teivah.
Even of the food, if you calculate, right? Let's say, elephant need in a year 2 tons of food. A giraffe need half a ton. A lion, right? Calculate all this. You're talking about a couple tons of food.
For a year.
For a year, right? It doesn't fit in the Teivah. Physically, it doesn't fit. If I tell you in this, I'm going to fit 5 containers of boxes of beer, it just doesn't fit.
Was a lot of nisim.
A lot of nissim over
A
there.
lot of nisim.
Because if you calculate it, it just doesn't.
No one's trying this without the nes.
No, I'm saying even if without it, just calculate it physically and it just doesn't fit.
Now, the thing is that Rashi doesn't mention anywhere that there was such a situation in the Teivah, there was such an environment.
Peaceful?
But the Rebbe feels that based on another Rashi, it's obvious that you have to say that it was a miraculous situation in the Teivah. So, King Kashanit, the Chora Rashi ergetzvu gedarft Omerkin is in Teivot getroffen as ein es Godel. Don't ask, Rashi had to make a mention that in the Teivah there existed such a great ness.
It's common sense.
It is common sense. That's the Ein Hanami.
Ask everyone to do it.
In other
On the
words,
second
what
column-
we're doing over here, we're learning the Rashis and the whole thing. We're saying it's impossible.
Right. That's the
So he
emes.
doesn't have to explain.
Oh,
it.
richtig.
That's
Aber
what's
emes are
learning
gute kasha.
Torah. What?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why the Rebbe said it, because the Rebbe earlier on said that's Mochum Pshutei Shel Mikra, Mochum Pshutei Shel Mikra from itself. You don't need a...
Yeah.
Over here, he wants to say that Rashi should have mentioned something. Maybe Rashi should have brought it out clear, should have mentioned it. Rashi's a Mefirish, should have maybe spoken out the Pshutei Shel
Yeah,
Mikra.
yeah.
True, if you read it, you can deduce. And if you think about
Just
it,
counting the measurements.
you think about it, you make the cheshbon, you come to that conclusion. But maybe, the Rebbe's pointing out that maybe you should. Someone might ask, why didn't Rashi maybe point it out? So he says,
Chamesh Lemikro would not know that.
Yesh loymar, as those very shem avorin to Rashi little. You could say that really Rashi earlier. You could see it from Rashi earlier, as in the Teivah, the second column on page 30. In the Teivah, seinen gekommen blois oisen shadov grinaim lishchisu darkum. Rashi writes earlier that those that came into the Teivah were only those that stayed with their min. We know it says that when the Mabel, not only did the human beings sin, but the animals sinned. The animals were living with other types. Only those came to the Teivah, oisen shadov grinaim lishchisu darkum. Number one, that was one nest. Only those animals came. Number two, me'aleim bo, he didn't need to gather them in. Rashi says they came by themselves.
That's what Yankov, yeah?
Shmuel.
What said, yeah?
V'chol she'ateva kol tasei yichnas bo. And not only that, whatever the Teivah accepted into it, Noach let stay. So the Teivah decided who would come in and who wouldn't come
That extra machine there.
in. Yeah. But Zarfun Zatmi, you see over here a few things. 4 points. V'loizim of charim, only the best of the animals. Shlei shchisu darkas and come in the Teivah. Only the best came from that Rashi, you see. Bei shoyim bali chasam. Already on the way into the Teivah, the chayis there was a mazik event. They didn't, on the way in, they didn't hurt each other. Gimel, their etzem kumin. When they're Arayin kumin Teivah, they're gansim medachnes. Coming into the Teivah, everything about it was a nest. They came by themselves. The Teivah only allowed certain animals in. Certain animals couldn't even come in. There was some system there that didn't let them in.
And how many animals?
Yeah, so it's the whole thing. And Memelas came pelling it. So don't ask any question. Not a wonder Rashi never mentioned a word about the special environment that existed in the Teivah. Because it's not going to be a pella that after you heard about all these nissim, how they walked into the Teivah with such, entered there with such nissim. As euch der noch hereinkommen in den Teivah is nimsha geworden nest. The nest continued on.
This, in other words, this thing that the Teivah was kailit only certain that already shows that
In the Ha'ara that Rebbe brings from a brother of the Maral, who was a Pirush Be'er Mayim Chaim on Rashi al Torah, he says Shekol Maisa Teivah B'Nes Hoya. Everything that went on the Teivah was a nest. The whole thing was
It's obvious. Where you see it.
Yeah.
It's an esgalut.
Why can't we
which
say no?
note is that?
But the Meraglim,
In the ending of note 23,
23.
the last line, you see?
Okay.
Be'er Mayim Chaim al Pirush Rashi La'achi Amaral.
Okay.
Everything was a nest.
By the Meraglim, Moshe Rabbeinu sent them to the Meraglim, right?
Yeah.
So they said, 1 second, in the desert we see him like king. You know, the man comes from Shemayim, the clothes, so we're comfortable. We don't want to go to Tesor. So the Behemoths in the Teivah we're living so comfortable. We don't have to tear it.
Oh, that's the
let's
one.
let's live like
Now
this.
that we explained what happened to Teivah, the Rebbe is going to go back to now say, now we can understand why there need to be a special tzivui to Noach and to the animals. Leave the Teivah, and if the animals don't want to go out, force them out. Why do they need to be forced out? Because it was such a wonderful environment in the Teivah. No one wanted to, for 1 year.
Even they already
for one-
changed the meut.
For 1 year, they had Mashiach Zeiten.
Yeah.
You were able to be in Golos. There was Mashiach didn't care. There was a big Mabel going on in the whole world. But in this ship, in this ship over here, it's Mashiach times. But the Nevi'im talk about Mashiach was at a mini level, miniature levels going on in this ark over here. It was the whole thing was one big nest. So this was a very good place to be, and they liked it. And there was no reason why they wanted to leave.
It's a little test of Mashiach.
Yeah, a little Teimein.
Yeah.
Siv Gimel. Und das ist euch der Tam for was nach dem Yavshar. This is also the reason why afterwards, when the land became dry, still noch gedarft ankommen zu Tzivah Tzivah Teva, hatte wir a Mitzvah lieb mit dem Teva. Weil Noach nicht gewollt der Reis gehen für Teva. Und is given in a art, he was in a place, was given a matzvah Lasalave. There was a situation like Lasalave.
Wow.
So this is a good place.
It's almost like Shabbos Bayos, we don't want to finish Shabbos. We like it.
Yeah, we'll skip the brackets over here. Page, top of page. Not sure what page it is. To 30, top of page 31, after the brackets. Mishum Zeh is the race came from the Teivah given a Yerido, the Gabi, the massive in the Teivah. It was a Yerido, it was a descent. They didn't want to go out to be Yorid, into the Veld. Alachas kam v'kama v'dechayis torfas gufa. For sure, not only by Noach, by the animals. By Noach was a tzaddik before he entered the Teivah. But the wild animals weren't tzaddikim. I mean, they didn't go and they weren't mashchis to go with other animals, but to live with other animals. But they were wild animals. A lion was a lion, a tiger was a tiger, and they killed. And that's how they predators. Malachas kama the chayis teres gufa.
No, before the Mabul, even the Chayot Torah ate grass.
Oh, so there's a whole discussion in one of the notes about this.
Only grass?
Well, I mean, only vegetation.
So why did they went ahead and sleep with other animals? Not the same.
So the emes
Why
of
they
the
went ahead
pshat.
and sleep with other animals? Not the same.
That has nothing to do with what they eat.
Usually, because you are teiref, you have this achzariyot in you.
Not necessarily. That's just like you, human being. We kill animals and eat them. Does that mean we have this?
It's right. Your question's a very good question. The Rebbe in note 20 deals with this in note 20. He doesn't explain the answer. He says, but he says in one Rashi explains like what you said that animals also ate grass then. But on the other hand, he points out to 3 other Rashis that say that there were wild animals that had bad traits and were predators then. And how do all these Rashis fit together? He refers him to another sikh of his in another chelik. He doesn't give the answer.
No, it could be that just like the humans went off the derech and were much between. So some of the animals they weren't supposed to kill other animals, but they did it anyway.
Reb Chaim Voloshin, the Aaron, Reb Chaim Voloshin says, how could it be animals who come in b'shein amina? They don't have such ideas.
How can an animal what?
Go min b'shein amina. What you said, what Shmulik said, that they had relations, an animal that was not as men. So he asked, how could it be? The animals don't have such things. So he says that the human beings, that human beings, that they did such schlachts that it affected the animals, that they should also do schlachts.
In the generation.
It could be just like among humans. Most humans don't have such a nor or straight. Most humans don't have homosexual nitiyot. But some apparently do. Same thing with animals. Most of them don't, but some of them do.
No, but he ties because the humans In other words, it's like a balance in the world. Once the Hashkasa reaches a certain point in the Bria, the whole Bria is affected by it.
Even the animal affects them.
Right. This is what he writes, because a few years ago in England, there's a Gaish scientist. I forgot his name, something Rupert. So he has this thing called. I forgot what it's called, something resonance or something. Like he asked the question, a bird goes, they see in England, to someone's house, there's milk. They put the milk by the house, he should pick it up. And the bird comes and he opens the top and he eats the cream from the top of the bowl. No, how does the bird know this is a milk? He doesn't have a mother that takes him to the grocery store and he sees that he's flying from the trees and he knows he's supposed to. So morphic dissonance is something called it. So he tines. I mean, I don't know if it's proved, but he tines that if in a certain area there's so many animals, almost like 100 of these animals, and once the rive of them know a certain idea, so then the rest of them have it. I don't. So the guy my friend told me this. I said, you know what, Reb Chaim should have said it first. I don't know. Weiß nicht.
A lot of things we don't know.
This is the answer to the question. How could it be Shmeina?
They've done the same studies with monkeys.
No, also it's just
they have intuition that
one does it and they see or they understand or something. And
there's so much of the world that we haven't come to grips with. There's so much we don't understand. We have so much.
Yeah, how is it that birds are flying and a formation all of a sudden they shift instantly?
How do they communicate? Anyway, so Lamaisa.
What was continue with what the Rebbe said about that issue?
I don't have I have to look it up.
Okay.
But if we have to look up at my Meir, we'll look it up.
The Rebbe look in the Rebbe said that in 3 places the animal used to eat only grass. כל ירק עשב יאכלו יחד כולם. That's the concept. So everybody ate grass. They didn't have to dress. They didn't have to tear an animal in order to survive. שמשמע לכאורה שגם חיות הדורסות אכלו רק ירק.
Yeah, we have to look it up. It's in Chelek Chav. Mitzvah Shem will look it up after.
So that means there were pure animals already before they go into the Teivah.
Right, but the Rebbe wants to learn that Rashi didn't hold that way. But the problem is that Rashi said different. In other places that they did eat grass. It's a steer in Rashi itself. We have to understand.
Maybe the grass was time a man. They have any time they want.
They didn't need to. Once you make a very mashchit, then you have to start eating other animal. Before that, when you're pure, you could survive just on grass.
Now, by the way, that's why there was a separate sivui for Noach and his family to go out, and for the animals. It was separate. Because the animals, there was much more bigger of change for them to leave. The situation was much better for them in the Teivah than for Noach. For them, they had their whole nature changed.
They didn't move nothing. He woke.
In der Fahrt, megedar pasonder ansagen Noach kolachaya she'itach heitze itach. You have to take them all out, the animals. While it says doch hamakim lachalik, there's room to differentiate for Noach and his family. Is mucher that race came for Teivah. They need to go out. The human beings need to go out in the world. Geht so oft an der Welt schon mechutz der Teivah. Und der Rebbe ist kedai die Rida to leave the tellus from Welt mechutz. Human beings need to go out because you need to affect the world and have an aliyah through doing things in the world. So it's kedai the Rida of leaving the Teivah. But the shayla with the animals, what type of shlichus do the animals have that they're leaving? Schenken and Reisen, the Chayis Term and Teivah, Gerim San Zay Rida. Once they don't werden Vidas and Chayis Terms, they're going to go down such a level, they're going to come back to the way they wild animals, so why do they want to leave?
All right, but that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom set up the world. It's Yeshuva Shalayim to have all these contradictions.
He even after the Mabul, that's when he gave a heter to humans to eat flesh also. No? So the same thing with the animals.
Right.
In other words, Noach did not eat any meat before he went to the Teivah?
No.
He ate only grass?
Only grass, you can eat fruits and vegetables, but yeah.
Yeah,
he was a vegan.
It was against anything that alive.
Yeah. Some people want to go back to pre-Mabul days.
It's more healthy. It's more healthy.
That's a big debate.
I don't know
It's
about
not
that.
so much.
But it's not so debated whether it's healthy or not.
It's against McDonald's. It's against McDonald's and like
Listen, there's no question.
They want to make
A person
demonstrations.
has all kinds of problems. This could help if we'll go a la kotze, you know. But after so many years, it's a shiloh of the B12. It's a machlokes. It's a machlokes. The long-term effects of veganism is being debated.
Okay, so now we finished the stage. We know now why they needed a special mitzvah to leave the table. We understand why they needed to be told to leave, and the animals needed to be forced out, if necessary, out of the table. Pasha be forced. However, now we need to understand why are they being forced. Why is it so important to leave? We know why they want to stay, but why is it so important that they have to leave the table? So we can understand this by what was the very first thing they were told to do when they left the table. They were told Puruvu, and also the animals. So it's very important. While they were in the Teivah, there was not even a chance of there was not even space. They couldn't have children. They couldn't have offspring. The point was that the world was now destroyed. The entire world is destroyed. The most important thing that they have to do, the born shlichus, is rebuild life again. The real, proper life. These are the tzaddikim of the animals and the Noach and the human beings, the tzaddikim. The whole new life is going to come from them. So the first thing you got to get to business is to create new life. Sai human beings and sai animals. And that's why it's so important that same in Teivah. We know why they didn't want to go out, but we now also know why it's so important them to leave. That's what the very first thing they were told was, what's the Hasbar and them Sif Dalid? Is Marumas and Das Kufa the Pasuk Zak. What does the Pasuk say? Tseim and Teivah Atav Ishtecha. That's the importance of leaving. The Atav Ishtecha is the importance. Also by the animals were given a command to have offspring. Therefore, was das ist die erste Sache, wird angesagt Noach im Bescheiches und Zia B'Teivah's move on, as das is not a seitig, it's not a side idea. You know, it's not a side idea. Hashem is just being matter them. That during the Teivah you had an Isser to have Tashmita. Now you're allowed to have Tashmita. No, it's not just a heter.
L'shavas Yitzara.
It's Bashat Tzivui. This is the main focus of why you need to go out. No, das is the matar tal same in Teivah. The Pashas Ingen was man gefällt in the lemon of Teivah. This is what they were missing the whole life in the Teivah. It's given a mock and mugbuv in Teivah. Nicht ken sein den Puruvu. Befragt im Reifen was bringen Milos Aretz. Und der Mechuven is von same in Teivah is nach dem ist given der Mal Yimachas Kol Yikum that was erased the entire world. Is given die Schliches von Noach and zurück zu bei ihnen gekommen. You have to make back the world. That's the main nekuda of the Sikha.
Maybe that's why you send the bird. The bird is the only one that made the chet in the Teivah. So somebody like that made the chet, now go ahead and check what's going on in the world. We know what's going on, but you made the chet, let's see.
Now, you know, I mean, here the Rebbe adds in a little bit of this is the Gashmias, but now he adds a little bit of twists of Chassidus over here. Ruchni Stikkevar. He says in the Teivah it was wonderful. As Giluyim, the great revelations that they experienced in the Teivah, the great Nisim, were unbelievable in the Teivah. Main Mashiach. But that wasn't the point in life. The point in life is to go out of the Teivah and to fulfill what Hashem wants in the world. You know, the Pirkei Avos says, Yafa Sha'ach Shal Koyres Ruach Ba'olam Haba Yikol Chaylam Hazeh. More than the entire life in this world, one Shah, 1 hour being up there is worth more than all the Chaylam Hazeh.
But doesn't it say Yafa Sha'ach Shal Tshuva Masam Taivan?
So on the other hand, it says the other Chazal that Yafa Shach Tshuva Ma'asim Tovim in this world. Tshuva Ma'asim Tovim in this world, one Shah is worth more than the Olam Haba. So what's Pshat? Pshat Sazoi. If you're talking about a human, there's a difference when you're talking about what's important as for a nivra, the tainig of a nivra, the tainig of a boira. The tainig of the nivra, a human being, a creation's tainig, the ultimate tainig is up there. You want pleasure? This world, Yosef from Kol Chayelim has all the pleasures of this world. The pleasure the spiritual pleasure that you could pleasure in the godliness, basking the light of Hashem and Gan Eden, is more than everything in this world. But that's all when you're talking about the tainig that you can have. But where is Hashem's tainig? Where does Hashem derive pleasure? Hashem wants you here doing tshuva ma'asim tovim. So the yafa shah achas but tshuva ma'asim tovim by lamhazim mikol chalam vaba means lagabi the Eibishter. Yeah, you in this world don't feel that. You would feel better in Gan Eden. But what's the Eibishter's tainig? What does the Eibishter want? The tshuva ma'asim tovim in this world. They say that the Vilna Gaon, before he was nostalgic, he took his tzitzis in his hands and he was crying. He was saying that in Olam Haba they would give everything away for tzitzis. So in this world, you can we don't chap it, we don't see, but the ultimate over here, the ultimate purpose is tshuva ma'asim tovim in this world. So it's a chiluk between tainig boira, tainig nivra. What's bigger, tainig boira, tainig nivra? Tainig nivra we feel.
You need both.
Tainig boira, you don't feel, but so the ma'isa, the difference between in the Teivah and going out of the Teivah. In the Teivah was tainig nivra. The Nivraim were on a very high madrega. But what was the Hashem's plan? What did He want? Hashem wanted that we should leave the Teivah and make the world a better place. Change the world. So not just stay in a Teivah whole life. He made a whole world. Made a whole world. The same thing. The Rebbe over here brings it to his motto, ties it in. This Sikha was, what year was this? This was said.
In the beginning,
it was in the early 80s. But anyways, the Rebbe points out like this. He takes a lesson from this. He says, some people feel that we have to sit in koil the whole day, or learn Torah all day, not to deal with the world. So the Rebbe says it's not the right approach. There has to be same in a Teivah. You have to go out of the Teivah. We're not meant to live in the Teivah all day. You're not meant to live in the Teivah. The Mashiach will come. That time, the whole world will be sitting in koilu. We'll all be sitting and basking light of Hashem. We'll learn and daven the whole day. But this world is meant that we're in the world, and while we're in the world, we act like we're supposed to act, like Shulchan Aruch Yidden, Yerushalayim. We do Torah mitzvahs in the world. Doing Torah mitzvahs, living in a cave, that's not what the world was made for. Because why did Hashem make this whole world for? Doesn't mean this is not a license to enjoy, to sit here and pick up your feet. The point is that you have to work, and you have to work with the world and make the world a better place. The Baal Shem Tov Taish had a beautiful pshat in the beginning of the parasha. We see that Noach was told, "Boil a Teivah, come into the Teivah. The waters are coming, the flood waters are coming," and he was told, "Enter into the Teivah." So Baal Shem Tov said, "Why did he say boil a Teivah? Come into the Teivah. Should say leich al Teivah. Go to the boat." So come into the Teivah. He said the word Teivah has two meanings. Teivah means a box, a boat, the ark. Teivah also means, in Hebrew, means word. Teivah, tevot.
Means word?
Words.
Word.
Word. Teivah is a word. He says, Baal Shem Tov said, what do the flood waters symbolize? Flood waters symbolize that a person's neshama is like a fire. He has a fire. The fire always flickers higher. It always wants to leave the wick. Any chance the fire can go if it eats up the wick, it goes away. The fire rises. The fire wants to leave the wick, constantly flickering higher. No matter where you're going to turn the flame, It's going to always turn back upwards. It always wants to go back to its source. The neshama ner Hashem, nishma sadam. The neshama is compared to the ner. The ner also, just like the ner wants to go up, neshama wants to go up always back to Hashem, wants to do a... But we have flood of water that threatens to extinguish the flame of our neshama. We have things in this world, the Teivahs in this world, the Tanugim, or not even the Teivahs, the flood of life, of work and parnasa and just life. It's so busy and just could drown the feelings of love for Hashem, the fire to Hashem, because he's so busy thinking about Elam Haz the whole day. He's so busy, I have to do this, and I have to go buy this, and I have to do this, and we could slowly forget our whole mission. So when someone feels that it's happening to him, and he feels the flood waters are flooding his neshama, Bayala Teivah, said the Baal Shem Tov. Come into Teivah, into the words. Come into the words of Torah and Tevilah. Go grab a sefer. Go into the Beis Medrash. Like the Gemara says, someone feels the Yetzer Hara is coming after him. Feels he has Teivahs. Mashchei Beis Medrash. Go schlep into the Beis Medrash. Go inside the shul. Learn. Daven. So that's the way you're going to be saved. But we have to know, after you feel strong enough, that the floods, waters are not going to extinguish the fire, and your neshama, you feel strong enough, now you daven, you learn, you have to know you're not supposed to stay here a whole day. Same in a Teivah. You eventually have to leave a Teivah, and you have to go out and carry with you the inspiration and what you learned, and make your job better, your day better, your relationships better, your life better, your Ahavas Yisrael. You know, they say the story with...
he says this and too, Baal Shem Tov, this tzai?
Yeah, no.
The
Rebbe is the tzai.
The Rebbe is the tzai.
Baal Shem said the boy ala Teivah. But the Rebbe said, that in this Sikha, the Rebbe said that it has to be the tzai. Tzai ala Teivah. And the tzai ala Teivah brings the ultimate. There was one of the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov, his name was a Pinchas Karitzer. Pinchas of Karitz. Pinchas of Karitz at one point felt that, people are always coming to him and they're asking him about koshes and brachis, and it's too much. He wants to just sit and daven and learn the whole day, and he wants to be b'dveikus. So he asked Hashem if Hashem could give him a bracha that he shouldn't be a liked person. People shouldn't like him. They'll leave him alone. So his bracha was Mekoyim, and people stayed away from him. They didn't like him anymore. He was very happy. He had beautiful peace and quiet to daven and learn. No one's bothering him. It was before Sukkot. He needed some help to build a sukkah. He wasn't so handy, So he asked people to help. The neighbors, no one wanted to help him. He's not a liked person, They didn't want to help him. He wasn't a good neighbor. So he tried. It was very, very difficult. So finally, he got someone to help him. He had so much trouble getting a sukkah. Then he wanted to invite guests. After Sukkah, no one wanted to come because he's sonny. No one likes him and wants to be by his house. He came that night. He came to the sukkah. He sat down. He said, in the certain minhagim, have minhagim to read how you invite the ushpizim to come into the sukkah. So the first night, the ushpiz is Avraham Avinu.
Right.
So he called out that he's inviting inviting Avraham Avinu into the sukkah. He sees that Avraham Avinu comes to the door to the sukkah, but he's not coming in. So why won't you come in? He says if there's no guests, he doesn't come. Avraham Avinu he doesn't come into any place where there's no guests.
Oh, wow.
No guests over here. So now he already realized that it was not a good Avodah. So he davened to Hashem, changed the Avodah, that he should become well liked again. So everything has its mailas and chesronos. There is a maila, someone sitting the whole day by himself, davening, learning. Yes, it's holier, it feels better, it feels more inspiration, no question about it. But the shaila is that that's the ultimate. Yes, dealing with people is more difficult. Dealing and having a social relation and being involved with the world is more difficult. It's harder to stay davok to Hashem, being involved in the world. But the other hand, that's the shlichus. So to go lock yourself away, in a chanami. Shachris min chamar, you have to lock yourself away. We know that we have to stop during the day where we recharge ourselves, because as human beings, we can't go without this. We need to recharge ourselves, davening a few times. They have our shiurim, morning and night, middle of the day have shiurim, keep us recharged. But ultimately, we have to affect the world and have obviously Yisrael and Kibbut Avayim and all the other mitzvahs about relating. Otherwise, you could be a malach. Hashem didn't need human beings. He has plenty of malachim up there. The malachim said, "Tanoh ha'itchal hashemayim." They tied to Hashem. Why are you giving your Torah down here, downstairs? Keep it over here. So Hashem said to Moshe, "You answer them back." So Moshe said, "You were in Mitzrayim. Klum Yetzirah yesh lechem." Do you have a Yetzirah? So the ultimate is that you have a Yetzirah and you conquer the Yetzirah. You know, the Baal Shem Tov, we'll just tie it into another story. The Baal Shem Tov is a story where Baal Shem Tov had an inyan that he would go to people and he would ask them, "How are you?" And he wanted to elicit a response from them to answer back, "I'm Baruch Hashem okay, Baruch Hashem this, Ba'ez Hashem, Baruch Hashem." He wanted them to praise Hashem. He came over once to a parish. A parish, there was a concept then, in the Stadtlach you had, in Europe, years back, they had a concept of Prussian. Someone would live in it, would be in a shul, he'd be learning and davening the whole day. And he wouldn't have any contact with anyone, he wouldn't speak to anyone. And he'd be someone for 50 years, he used to sit in that same seat in the shul, he barely ate, and he fasted, and he learned the whole day. He didn't talk to anyone, he was davuk to the Eibishter. So the Baal Shem Tov went over to one of the parish in one of the shuls that he came to, and he said to him, "How are you doing?" So he said, "Baruch Hashem." So he said, "How is your parnasa? You know, where do you get your gashmias from? How do you survive? What's your?" He wanted him to say Baruch Hashem on the parnasa. So the Rebbe asked on this story, one time discussed, he said, Baal Shem Tov wanted people to say Baruch Hashem. Good, but why did he have to ask? Why did he ask the parish, "How's the Gemara going? How's the Rambam going? How's your learning? How's your learning going?" Why did he have to ask him about his parnasa? Why did he have to ask him about his parnasa? Ask him about what he likes to do, about what he does the whole day, his learning. He said the Baal Shem Tov wanted to elicit a Baruch Hashem, not all about the learning. He knew that the learning was Baruch Hashem. He was all with the Eibishter all day, learning them. He wanted to hear the parish recognizing Hashem, seeing Hashem in the gashmias of his life, in that physical, in the mundane aspect of his life, where his parnasa comes from, to recognize the Yad Hashem outside the shul in the Beis Medrash. In the parnasa to recognize the Yad Hashem. That's not as easy. It's easier once you're in shul, everything's good. You're good with Hashem. But then when we go on the streets, and we need to look where we're supposed to look, and we need to work appropriately, and not to steal, not to cheat, and everything else in life, and to have good manners and that's what's difficult. So there we have to say Baruch Hashem. What did you want to say?
I thought you're doing Noach now, right?
Yeah.
I thought of an amazing chiddush. I don't know if the Rebbe brings this down, but when Noach sent the dove out to see if there was dry land, I think there were 3 attempts. Okay, why? What's the significance of that? I mean, I never heard a comment. I just realized that it's to make Noach himself ready to go out of the Teivah. Mm-hmm. In other words, he wasn't ready because it's so hard to go out of the Teivah when you're with Hashem. So it was 3 attempts represent getting Noach ready, prepared to
It's similar. You know, the whole story is similar, like what you were saying before about the Meraglim. We know the Balatani explains that. What was the Chet Meraglim? The Meraglim, it says, they were hand-picked by Moshe Rabbeinu, hand-picked the top tzaddikim. So how did suddenly, who would Moshe trust? Top people. So how did suddenly they fall? So the Balatani explains, the Alter Rebbe explains, it didn't just happen over a minute. He took top people, but they saw how difficult life is going to be in Eretz Yisrael, in Eretz Canaan. You're going to have to work with the land. There's not going to be any more mun. No more Be'edah Shel Miriam. There's no more Anani HaKavod. All of this is gone. And it's going to be a whole new lifestyle where we're going to have to work with the Gashmias, work the land, till the land in order to have produce and parnasa. And it's going to be difficult nisyonis, challenges of life and everything's going to change. So they felt that the Nisyonis were too much. Better for Klal Yisrael to be in the Midbar. We have the Dananei HaKavod. So that's the best thing. So ultimately, that was the chet of the Meraglim. But it started off with good kavanas. Everything has to start off somewhere. Even Korach didn't just wake up one day and say he wanted it. Also, people start off by convincing themselves that what they're doing is correct. Not everyone, but a good person. When a good person goes off the path, does something wrong, it doesn't just happen one day they wake up and start doing bad things. They start to convince themselves that things that they're doing are really righteous, and this is what should be done, and this is how, and it leads to go from level to level. So the starting off of the Chait was where they had righteous thinking, well, this is better for the Yidden, this is the best place to be, to keep close to Hashem, and Torah Mitzvah, and this led to ultimately to the Merida. Same thing with Korach. Korach had certain points, and he felt he had certain points in Kedusha. And this ultimately led him to his Merida. People don't, tzaddikim, or people that are noble people, don't just one day wake up and just one morning and change their whole life. There's a conscious, there's things, the stages how things develop. So there's always the Yetzer Hara could be also a Yiddish Yetzer Hara. He gives different reasons which seem like they're holy.
Well, it's the whole socialism, communism. They saw the rich are drinking the poor. They had they want to help. In the end, came out.
And then they all pocketed the money for themselves, right?
Well,
so
I don't know. The end came out with Sikha and everything. I mean, with sugar things. I'm saying, you're saying about a Yiddish.
A lot of things come from good
good intentions. Yeah.
Start off with good kavanas, but listen, yeah.
Someone told me you're going to a Jewish wedding, right? How do you know who's the color? She's dressed the most beautiful, white, different than everybody else. How do you know who's the chosen? Everybody wear black hair, black suit. At the end of the wedding, whoever take the color home is the chosen. He said, Chodesh Tishrei, we're so busy, right? Whoever take the Torah with him home is the chosen.
Nice.
So we have to learn Torah every day.
Yeah, so let's all be mechazek ourselves. It's a new year.
Shurim should be more popular.
Baruch Hashem, we'll have a big oilam.
We had a big island yesterday. Today's not bad.
Better and better. We're going to go out from the Teivah and we're going to go alone.
It's always, we scream Hashem Echad by Ne'ilah. We scream Hashem Olikim, Hashem Echad, Baruch Shem. But then we have to scream down the regular day. The regular Montig and Donishtik should be Hashem Olikim. That's the challenge. But on the other hand, the person is not allowed only what Hashem demands. Those nisyonis that you're supposed to have, but you're not allowed to bring it. You're not allowed to put yourself in the situation. But situations with life demands of you those nisyonis, that's your challenge. Not allowed to bring yourself in nisyonis. There was one time.
She's one step ahead of you.
Because Hashem knows which nisyonis she can pass. You don't.
The Rebbe Rashab was one time wanted to bring out how. At this point, after the Nisayan, so he said, Peterburg was considered a big city, in Lubavitch, little shtetl. Peterburg was a city, So he's saying, someone said once, it's not a kunst to be a chassid in a little shtetl Lubavitch. What's there to do there? There's nothing there.
Right.
Go live in the big city of Peterburg, there you can still be a chassid. But you know what? Even in Peterburg, it's not the ultimate kunst. The ultimate kunst in Peterburg is to go into the movie theater. And here, you close your eyes, and you don't look what's going on. That's a real kunst. Then the Rebbe Shab said further, that's not a big enough kunst. Go into Peterburg, go into the movie theater, and open your eyes and look and everything. And now, Application, don't be dispelled, don't be affected by what you see. Don't change your thinking, your lifestyle. He said, that's not how it works. That's ultimately the Nisayim. You're not supposed to put yourself in. If your workplace, situations which you have to be, this is what it is. If it's mutar, you should not. That's what your shlichus is.
Well, just to come out of the Teivah, that's the big